Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chaps. This is the opposition view, where we get a sneak preview into the opposition camp ahead of our next game. And today's no different. We are going to get a sneak preview into our game on Saturday, a derby over in West London, another early kickoff, unfortunately, away at QPR. And to talk to us about QPR, we welcome Ben from the W12 podcast. Ben, how you doing, mate?
Yes, very well, thank you. Yeah, long day, but the weather seems to be changing a little bit. It's a bit warmer today, which has been nice, other than the rain that we've been getting.
Yeah, well, mate, it depends where you got to go. If you're sitting on those tubes and stuff like that, being warm is not what you want.
True, mate.
Very, very true. Well, thank you, mate, for coming on. And for those of you listening, this isn't the first time Ben and I have spoke, so I'm going to reveal something. We did a show, didn't we, Ben? And
We did.
that never actually went out. So I was convinced that we were signing Lyndon Dykes. And I asked Ben to come on and talk about him. So we did a 30-minute show about Lyndon Dykes, and 6 hours later he signed for Birmingham. So there we have it. So, but thank you once again, buddy.
I think you were close. I think the rumours were floating around. It was between you or Birmingham. I think Blackburn were around as well, but you obviously got more money elsewhere, mate. I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if someone's going to pay $1 million plus add-ons, give him a 3-year deal, and pay him pretty much what he's been paid at QPR, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
To sit on the bench.
Yeah, well, yeah. Listen, he's sorted for the next 3 years. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Lyndon Dykes. We're here to talk a bit about our game on Saturday. And I think we've had some real good sort of crackers over the years. The one that stands out is the 1-1 draw at your place after the COVID years. That one stands out in the memory for obvious reasons. But QPR played 5 games, won 1, lost 1, drawn 3. How would you summarise your team start to the season, mate?
Yeah, we've done okay. We've not been great in any game. We've been very inconsistent in all of our games, really. Just patches here, patches there, where we've looked good, looked poor. We've probably 6 points is probably where we should be. Really, we got a really lucky draw at the weekend. I don't know if you saw the goal that we scored in the last minute.
I was going to ask you about this goal. What a finish!
Oh God! I turned it off in frustration. It was literally the last kick of the game, like literally. And Barry Bannon, the most annoyingest player, scored top corner. And I was so fuming, turned it off. And then I got a text message saying we've just scored. And then I turned it on, and then I saw everyone celebrating. So, but yeah, what a scrappy goal! There's about 5,000 there as well. I don't know how we've got away with it, to be honest. But yeah, sorry, yeah. So go. I mean, look, we've done okay. We're not great. We ended the season really well last year, really well, and we were really looking forward to this season with Marty Cifuentes full summer, and he's trying to change us a little bit from how we ended last season. Bit more on the deck, playing, trying to be a bit more open, and we've conceded a bit more than we normally do, but. It's going to take time. We've got a lot of signings. None of them have got championship experience. I think we signed 8 players. None of them have played in the championship before. We've got abroad, all data signings, and that's how we do it now. We historically are very journeyman transfers. Championship.
Know the feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but we've our new CEO owns a data company, and like I said, he said that you can get more money abroad for better stats and Dave, the people that do this sort of stuff. So that's So I think it's going to take a bit of time to get going. And Ilias Chair's been out injured as well. He's our best player, which is frustrating.
Is he back for Saturday?
No, he's out. I think
Good.
He's had a bruised back. It's a bit odd, to be honest, because he obviously had his trouble outside of football, and he got acquitted of that. But we haven't seen him since. Apparently, he's got a bruised back, but. We haven't seen him in any training ground pictures or anything like that. Apparently, he's been floating around. But yeah, so he won't be back for your game. We've really missed him, his creativity. But yeah, mate, I said I'm confident that we won't be in the relegation like we were last season. I don't think.
So 5 games, 6 points. You think that's probably a fair reflection of where you are. It's interesting though because, and this just shows the Championship, right? Because you go to Luton and beat them,
Yeah,
right? And then you scrape a point at Sheffield Wednesday, but yet we thumped Sheffield Wednesday and lost at home to Luton. So it's like, make that up. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just the beauty of the Championship, though, isn't it, mate?
yeah, mate. And I think this championship this year is it's so close. I just look around and the 3 teams that have come down look okay. They don't look great, especially not as good as the 3 teams last year that came down. Leeds don't look as good as they were last year. I think there's a couple. I mean, you just have to look at the top of the league. Sunderland and Blackburn up there. You do you know what I mean? I think that if you can get a good run going and stay away from injuries, I think anyone could be in and around that top 6. I think look at Oxford. I mean, they're flying, aren't they? Derby.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a real close league this year, and like I said, I don't think there's anyone to massively fear. But at the same time, like you said, you can get beat up by anyone on any day.
Yeah.
You've
If
only
you
not
don't
got to be
show
at the
up.
races fully. Yeah, exactly, and you're in trouble. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the league is getting even more sandwich at the top end, but also at the bottom end. Like I don't look at it and say there's 3 clear teams this season that are going to go down. Like you
No.
everyone said, and I do expect Oxford and Derby to drop off a bit, but it's you look at some of Oxford's recruitment and they look like a decent side. So you want to make sure that you get to that 50-point mark sooner rather than later. And
Yeah.
obviously at the moment you got 2 more points than us, but I just want to talk a little bit about some of your signings then. So, by the way, I've got a very good mate of mine. I've mentioned this to you before, Martin, who listens to your show. And he also, because he's a mate of mine, even though he hates Millwall, listens to all of my stuff. So I'm sure he'll be listening to this. So hello to you, Martin, if you are. But he tells me about your signing. So I've got a fair good idea. The one that made me most jealous, purely because I knew who he was and I'd seen him play, was Dembele. Would love to know your thoughts on him. And then, of course, you signed. I'm not going to pronounce these right, but Cella,
Yep.
and Madsen for big money for the context of what you normally spend, and then Sato. So tell me a little bit about some of those data players that you'd signed.
Yeah. So we've actually spent some money this summer, which is absolutely crazy, and I don't know where it's. It feels like everyone's got a little bit of money to spend this summer, doesn't it? I don't know if it's the Sky deals and stuff. We've sold a few players as well. We sold Chris Willett went on the free. We sold Sinclair Armstrong to Bristol City. And the season before we sold a fair few, Dickey and Dieng and stuff. So I just think there is a bit of money there. So we've signed Dembele on loan with an obligation to buy. He's been brilliant. He really is. He's only 5'2" or something, but you wouldn't know it. He's really really good. He's better in the hole in the number 10 than he is out wide, I think. But if he can get going, he's caused. Away at Sheffield United, he was by far the best player on the whole pitch. Wilder was raving about him, and his delivery is spot on. We've scored the most set piece goals in the league, I think, this year, and that's because of his delivery. Yeah, we scored another one on Saturday from a set piece. I say set piece, but yeah, so he's been brilliant. Madsen is another one. He's a big 6-foot odd lad. Number 10, 8 he plays. He's already scored this season. He looks like he's going to need to get all these players going to need to get used to this league because I don't think they really understand it and how intense it is and how quick it is and how much you don't have any time on the ball and the fans are right on you and he's struggled a little bit. He looks a bit laboured and a bit relaxed and sometimes these foreign players do that, don't they? Data and all aside, this is like mentally and something you probably can't predict.
Ben, do your fans give them patience? Like, so, obviously you've only played 5 games or 7 with cut games. Are your fans quick to be on their backs, or do they sort of give them patience?
We're in a bit of a. Do you know what, man? I think most fans are the same, right? I think it's a bit of. Marty can do no wrong, really. He can walk on water at the moment because of what he did last season, and we can see what he's trying to do. And we're aware that it's well known that it's going to take time for these players to get going, and we're competitive in every game. Okay, so we're not getting rolled over by anyone. So I think all those things in, and you can see when they get the ball sometimes, you can see there's a player there. All of these players, you can see there's something there. So I think you sort of add all that together, and as well as we're not bottom of the league, I always think that helps.
Gives you a bit more freedom and patience,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Time
So I
and
think you're all right. And realistically, mate, when you sign 8 or 9 players, I think history will tell you only 3, maybe 4, if you're lucky, will be any good or come off. I think that's
yeah, if you're lucky, yeah.
if it's so, and I think it looks like 3 or 4 of them will come good. Saito, the Japanese winger, there seems to be a lot of Japanese players this year in the championship.
Yeah. I feel like
But
we're one of the only clubs that don't have one.
Yeah. He's really good. Just needs a bit of time again. He's a bit lightweight, so that's a bit of a challenge. We've got little Paul Smith and Dembele and Cher and Saito, and none of them are above 5'3". So that's a little bit of worry. We've got Seller and Frey up front. We've got Frey, right?
You paid a lot of money for Seller, right? He's the one that was in the Euros, right?
Slovenian, yeah. Played about 2-3 million for him. He's which for us is quite big money.
Yeah.
He looks like, again, he's going to take time. He's a bit of a fox in the box type striker, like just instinctive, a little
Different
bit more.
to Frey then.
Yeah. So he won't play. Frey will play on Saturday, I suspect, barring an injury. And he can be dangerous because he's 6'6", I think, and I don't know how big he is, 20 stone. I don't know. He's massive. But to be fair to him, he's had a really good pre-season. He's lost a bit of weight. And technically, he's not terrible, but if you can get him in and around the box, he's decent.
Played well against Luton.
Yeah. And he's had a good start to the season. He's got 3 or 4 goals, so he's good. If you keep him away from the box, the more further away he is from the box, the less effective he is, and the more he looks a bit of a donkey.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But So, but he's useful.
He's like Matt Smith. So. I'm sure Matt Smith played for both of us, right?
He has, yeah. Mate, I love underrated Matt Smith. Quality.
Oh, we love
the ball in the box, mate. Yeah, so he's a bit like that. He'll cause you problems. But yeah, mate. So we've got Varane's brother as well, Jonathan Varane, centre midfielder.
He hasn't started like the house on fire, has he?
No, not really. He's got all the attributes for a good centre midfielder, but he's just going to take time, mate. We've got Colback and Sam Field in there that will probably play, I suspect.
Yeah. Okay. So, if I was to say to you, who's been your standout player so far this season, would it be Dembele?
It probably would. It would probably. I mean, a lot of fans' favourite is Steve Cook. He's outstanding.
You're skipper now, right?
Yeah, skipper. He's excellent last season. He's just, I can't even describe how good he is, mate. He's not the quickest, but he just never gets done for pace. Even if he does, he's always there. He wins every header. He just fouls when he needs to foul. He does what he needs to do when he needs to do it, and he's just really good. So he's probably been our best player, I'd say.
Steve Cook. Okay.
Yeah.
He was a good pickup, wasn't he? Really good pickup.
Really good, yeah.
He was at Bournemouth. Was it Forest? And then you picked him up from there. Is that right?
We got him from Forest, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, a couple of 100,000, I think. He's on a progressive contract, so I think every year he goes a little bit more in his wages, because last season we were right up against it with FFP, so I think he took a bit of a pay cut last season, but I think he's made up for it this season. But mate, he's paid it back in buckets, and next to Jake Clark-Salter, who's probably going to be injured at the weekend. Them two they've been brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds like we both got a centre back out because Jake Cooper went off injured. Obviously, he's our skipper, so he's going to be out for us. Right. We lost Josh Coburn up front. Sounds similar to you. No Chair for you, no Clark-Salter. I know they're 2 of your better players, and we'll be without Cooper and Coburn, who are 2 of our better players. So we've only got 1 fit striker.
How's old Longstaff doing? You don't see him score any.
He's hardly played, mate. He's hardly played. So he, you get the sense that Neil Harris doesn't particularly like him. And as if he was signed by the recruitment department and given to Harris. He's not a Neil Harris number 9. He's not a focal point of physical presence. So he's hardly played. He played a little bit in the cup games. But when Coburn got injured around the 20-minute mark on Saturday, he came on. And I thought he did all right. But I don't know if you saw it. He missed big chance to equalise. And I think that sometimes moments like that can define players' seasons, can't they? But there you go. But I have another question for you. And this comes in from Martin. So I just thought I'd ask him to see if he would ask you a question. What are your thoughts on? And I believe he scored at the weekend. What are your thoughts on Alfie Lloyd potentially starting against Millwall on Saturday?
Yeah, Marty Cifuentes likes him. We've got two youngsters, Ryan Colley and Alfie Lloyd. And funnily enough, Ryan Colley's the one that everyone is raving about as a natural talent. And he's a big lad, big curly hair. We thought that he'd be getting much more minutes with Chair being out, but it's actually not transpired that way. And Alfie Lloyd has overtaken him. He's played him away started him away at Sheffield United and away at Luton. And he comes off the bench most weeks, and he's quick and powerful, but he doesn't really know what he's doing or where he's going. But
sounds a bit like Sinclair Armstrong for you last year.
Little bit, mate. Yeah, a little bit. He could take you on and skin you, right, easily, right, and you'll be like, what the hell, and then he'll be running, and then the ball just get lost under him, and he'll make an odd pass or something like that.
Yeah.
So he is really inexperienced, but sometimes people like that can do some stuff that others more experienced wouldn't do, maybe, and come up with a goal here and there. So I think he could play Saturday. Again, he's a big physical lad, and we've got quite short players, so I think that's got also something to do with it. He's but yeah, good. He needs to play more. I thought he should have gone out on loan personally, but I suppose you always need these squad players, don't you, that can come in.
With injuries, mate, you just never know. You just never know. So it'll be interesting to see if he plays. And if he is a big lad, Cooper and Coburn are our top two biggest lads, and they're both injured. So we're normally quite a big physical side, and I don't think we will be on Saturday because I just can't see. Nothing's come out about their injuries, but they both couldn't continue the game, so that's never a good sign. So before we pivot to Saturday. Who's your weak link? So if Millwall to look at a weak link and try and target something, because I always felt last season, if I'm honest, I felt your goalkeeper was, and I know you've replaced him, but yeah, who's your weak link this season that you've seen so far?
Oh yeah, Asmir Begovic was ironically, he did quite well towards the end of the season when we really needed him to turn up. He did all right, to be fair to him. So I kind of let him off a little bit, but during the season he was really poor. We replaced him with Paul Nardi, who's French keeper. Looks a big improvement, good with his feet, big lad. Hasn't really had too much to do. I'm not saying he didn't make any real worldy saves. He made a big save at Luton, but he looks fine. So I wouldn't say he was our weak link. It's an issue. I'd say Kenneth Powell at left back worries me. Our left back is a little lad, good on the ball, but you can get at him and he'll let you. I don't know if you've got a quick winger. A lot of our goals come from balls in the box. We've got Jimmy Dunn on the other wing, who I love. He's a fan favourite. He's a centre back playing right back. Seems like the modern way these days, doesn't it? So I'd say left back. We often get overrun in centre midfield. We've got Cole back and Field in there, Sam Field, and they have a tendency to get overrun. They're very similar, and I don't think that helps. And they don't. Yeah, neither can go forward, or they both go forward, or they're both left-footed. So, yeah, I mean, either out on the left, you might get some joy, or if you can overload centre midfield, there might be some space there for you. We don't do great at home either.
I was going to say that. Yeah, your form this season. Obviously, you're unbeaten away. You play 3 games away. You're unbeaten at home. You've only picked up a point, right?
Yeah, so since Marty's been here, I think we're in top 6 for away form since Marty's taken over. I think since the turn of the year. And yeah, our team feels much suited away from home. So, and at home, I don't know what it is. We've got some weird, I wouldn't say curse, but I don't know. We just don't particularly play great. I'm not sure what it is, but if we get going, we're really good. But if we don't get going, you can certainly get ours. And we couldn't beat a 9-man Plymouth team the other week at home.
Yeah,
I just sat in. We couldn't break them down. So yeah, mate. I mean, we've only played 2 games, so it's a bit harsh probably, but just going on last season as well. Being at home, sometimes being away feels better for us.
Well, you're giving me a little bit of confidence, and the other thing that gives me confidence, mate, is I know you've got a game. I think it's tomorrow against Palace, right, in the League Cup.
That's it. Yeah.
Which I don't know what sort of side you'll put out, but maybe that gives us a slight advantage. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a slight advantage because we've got a fair few injuries floating around the defence, and so it will be it won't be like a B team because we don't. A lot of them are injured, so and you want to be kind of competitive, don't you? You know, this sort of round of the cup. If it was like the first round, second round, but when you
Yeah.
start getting to this stage, you kind of want to give it a go, and we're at home, so I imagine it'll be a fairly strong team, and it a couple more injuries, and we're in trouble, aren't we, for Saturday? But I don't know. Football sometimes doesn't really work like that, does it?
No, mate. No, it
I
doesn't.
remember thinking the same last season a few times. We've got a team in the cup, and then we end up losing on the Saturday.
Yeah. No, mate, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes continuity is good. Sometimes it
Yeah.
ain't, right? We just have to wait and see. But so shifting gears to Saturday, then, you're playing against us. And I'm not just saying this. I think any Millwall fan listening to this, we've only got 4 points from 5 games, and I genuinely believe we've been hard done by. Like, I would be honest and say, we've not been good enough. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we should have bundles more, but I think about 7 points is probably roughly because we should have beat Watford, let alone lost to them. They scored a debatable offside goal in the last minute to win the game. We let one straight in from a corner. Just very uncharacteristic of Millwall that day. It was a very emotional day with us paying our respects to Matty Sarkic, our former goalkeeper. So our performances have actually been really good, despite the fact that we've not been picking up as many points. So I've got a bit of optimism going into Saturday. But, what do you expect of Millwall on Saturday? And what have you made of their start from what you have seen?
Yeah, I mean, Neil Harris is always someone who I always thought that and they save you, and he's a bit of a legend, isn't he, at Millwall? But I've always thought that the issues that you had historically would come back, as this season. Might be a bit harsh, but does in my mind, is it very sort of long ball? Is it, or do you get the ball on the floor? I've not seen too much of you this season,
We've
but
definitely
I've
evolved.
liked a couple of.
Yeah, we've definitely evolved. We're certainly playing
Yeah,
more on the floor.
yeah. I quite like a couple of his signings. Well, how's the Aziz doing? The boy from Reading.
If I'm honest, I've been a little bit disappointed so far. I mean, it's early days and he's not started a game yet, but he doesn't fill me with much confidence. But he's young. I'm sure he's just settling in. But at the minute, he's not in contention to start. He's not there yet.
No, I mean, I imagine you'll be solid, difficult to break down. Set pieces, I'd imagine you'll be pretty strong. And it's a derby. And I always think with this sort of game, the first goal's pivotal.
Yeah.
So whoever gets the first goal will probably much more likely to get the result. Yeah, mate. If you can get ours, then there's a good opportunity there for you. Yeah, we'll have to see, mate.
Go on then.
It's at
Give me
3:00, isn't
your
it? 3:00
score
on a
prediction.
Saturday as well, isn't it? I
Is
love
it
that.
3? I thought
Is
it
it
was an
3?
early
Oh, it's
kickoff.
12:30, isn't it? It's 12:30.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Hoxie early kickoff.
Lucky you told me that, mate.
Unfortunately I'm not going, so
No.
I won't be there, unfortunately. But give us your score prediction, Ben. Go on, give us your score prediction.
I'll go. I think we'll win 2-1. Sorry, mate.
No, mate, it's fine. It's very confident of you. Who'll get your goals?
I'm gonna go with Frey and Cook.
Frey and Cook. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go with. I feel like I always predict this score, but I'm going to do it again. A 1-1 draw. I think that we'll get the first goal. We'll get the first goal. I think Romain Esse will show. And by the way, watch out for him on Saturday. He'll be a Premier League player in the next year. He is outstanding, young lad who's come through our youth. Yeah, he's been really, really good. So I reckon he'll get us off to a lead, but you'll apply the pressure. we won't be able to hack it. We've got a makeshift defence, and I think you'll come back and equalise 1-1, probably with a Dembele or Saito goal. That's my take on it. But we shall see, mate. This is the Championship, and anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
But perfect, mate. Right. Well, I think we'll close out there. But before we do, Ben, just tell the viewers how they can find you, what you do, and is there anything they could listen to potentially after the QPR Millwall game on Saturday?
Well, I don't know if they'd want to, but for anyone who does want to, or any QPR fans listening, yeah, W12 podcasts are on all the socials, wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah, I mean, we've got sort of current player interviews. We've actually got Alfie Lloyd on the pod next week, Thursday this week. So that'll be decent.
Nice.
We've got Harry Redknapp, we've got Cifuentes, we've had Les Ferdinand. So yeah, there's loads to float around. Warnock we've had before recently. So yeah, check it out.
Nice. Yeah, go and give Ben a listen to. To be fair, I wouldn't mind listening to something like Harry Redknapp or something. That'd be really good to listen to. And any QPR fans listening to this, even if you are like Martin and don't like Millwall, please do subscribe, because all of the money that we make this season is going to Cancer Research UK, as you can see on your screen, so you'll know it's going to a good cause. But that's your lot. Thank you very much for listening. Let's see how it all unfolds on Saturday. Ben, as always, mate, absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for coming on.
No worries.
And
thanks for having me.
Pleasure, mate. And we'll speak again after Saturday, I'm sure. To the listeners, thanks for listening, and bye for now.